Okay. I've been watching a lot of, seeing a lot of things on YouTube and stuff like that. Mostly about Cyberpunk and City Project and Sony's PlayStation 5 controllers and all this stuff. It's like, sort of have a quick discussion about the state of gaming and how the games companies earn, keep, lose, or show their trust, respect, honor, customer loyalty, and that sort of stuff. But let's start the discussion with is the company trustworthy, and are they respectful to the customer base? Generally speaking, I categorize there's three types of companies. There's the bad ones, there's the neutral ones, and there's the good ones. But in those categories, there's multiple positions. So in the bad companies, you've got companies like you got your greedy companies. You got your companies that lie. You got the companies that disrespect the customer base, stuff like that. In the neutrals, you have some of the same sort of stuff. And in the good ones, you still have it, but not to the same extent. So let's go full examples. A good example would be Mojang, the company that makes Minecraft. Prior to the Microsoft purchase of Mojang, or Mojang as some people call it, that has been a very respectful and good company. If they make a mistake in their game, they'll admit to it. They will turn around and say, yes, we screwed up, this update broke the game, we're working on it. They will also not tell lies about, like, if they turn around and go, oh, the next update's going to bring out TVs in the game. The next update will put TVs in the game. But they won't state that because they're not going to... I actually got in contact with them years ago and said, is there any chance we can get, pictures that we're on the wall, play GIFs or something? And they said, no, it isn't in our plan for the game. It's not in the feel we want for the game. Which is fair enough. And then you got... So that's a good company. They listen to the gamer base. And like, for example, if you put in a ticket and say, look, I'm having an issue with the game, they will respond. They'll turn around and say, yes, we've looked into it. Your issue is unique to you, or other people have experienced it. We're going to figure out a way to fix it. That's a good company. Then you got your companies that are like, they exist. It's like they don't make awesome games, but the games are good. They don't make crap games. The customer service is passable. Like if you ring up and make a complaint, they'll answer you, but they won't always answer you specifically. They might give you an automated response. We received your complaint and we'll look into it, type thing. And then you got your shit companies that are like totally ignore the customer base, and deliver products that are... They'll call themselves a AAA company and release like B-grade games. They won't take responsibility for the products. And even sometimes they'll blatantly lie about the game itself. So for example, we'll go EA for a good example here, with The Sims 1, 2 and 3. Up until they released their Origin shit on the PC. Right? The Sims games were brilliant games and very respectful. The second EA got hold of Maxis, the original company that made The Sims, it went from a great game to a money grab, which made it a bad game, or a bad company. EA, Ubisoft, hence the reason why I'm on Watch Dogs right now, because Watch Dogs Legion, in my opinion, is a great game. It's going to be even better when the online comes out, but it's a good game. And if I'm to lump it in categories, Grand Theft Auto 5 category, it's about the same. Open world, cars. The cars are handled a little bit more arcadey than in Grand Theft Auto. But you're not getting buy a shark card every 5 seconds. So it's a little, in a way, less greedy than GTA, but in other ways more greedy. Because like if you go to the options, no, I won't show it there. If you go to there's a marketplace on here. You can go to it, and you can buy like a suit. There's a suit there. It's literally like a one piece, like a bodysuit, a jacket, a mask. There's 5 pieces of clothing, and it's like 1,500 credits, and I think that's like $15, 15 or $20. It's like, who's gonna pay $20 for an outfit, a single outfit? It's like, that's greed, but it's not getting shoved down your throat. It's only in the menus. It's not like every time you jump into, like if I go to a vending machine or whatever in the world, it's not gonna go, oh, would you like to buy a shortcut? So it's less greedy than GTA, but not by much. So you've got the good companies, bad companies, and then just the in-betweens. At the moment, there is a handful of companies that fell from grace, that were good companies, respectful, honest companies. The 2 most notables are Bethesda and CD Projekt. Those are the 2 most notables, because it's happened within the last 2 to 3 years. But the big difference here is they're falling from a good company to a bad company, but in different categories. So, for example, Bethesda. Their games haven't gotten any worse. Their games are still just as janky as they always were. The company just got greedy. Right? So they're not lying, per se. They're just sneakily shoving in microtransactions. And then they'll turn around and say it's not a pay to win. When I'm sorry, if you can repair your weapons or your armor instantly with a repair kit that costs real money, that's pay to win. So yeah, that's Bethesda's route. Their games haven't gotten any worse. They haven't removed features or anything like that. If you go, well, they kind of have, but not to the same extent as the next one I'll mention. Good example is Fallout 4 to Fallout 76. Those are basically identical games. They use the exact same engine, exact same graphics, nothing has changed. Except for the way the game runs. Fallout 4, by far one of the better Fallouts. With the companions, base building, that sort of shit, I loved it. It was awesome. Still jank-tastic. Buggy as hell, like the amount of times you go to it and, you know, T-poses, swimming on land, that sort of stuff. But we expected it. And I'm not a person to get on the hype train. I do not get hyped over games. Especially since you get burnt 90% of the time. So you don't get on the hype train. If a game company says we're releasing this game, go, cool, I'll believe when I see it. And you will not get burnt. And that's what I do with 90% of my games. The other 10%, it's, that looks interesting, I'll keep an eye on it, but I'm not expecting much. I still don't get burnt. Generally speaking. The next company on the other hand done exactly what Bethesda done, but the biggest difference is it wasn't over greed. It kind of was, but not the same sort of greed. Not putting microtransactions in the game. But it's just plain and out disrespecting their customer base to the point of not honouring their statements and locking content behind invisible walls. And that is CD Projekt. They went from being a good company, a respectful company, to if they announce anything about their company, like, oh, we're releasing the next Witcher, so I don't care. I would have been like, oh, cool, another Witcher, I'll buy that. I'm not buying the next Witcher, they can get stuffed. Bethesda, on the other hand, if they announce, oh, we're releasing Fallout 5, I'll look into it. Because, yeah, they got greedy, but they didn't screw over the customer base with lies and disrespectful actions. So So, Bethesda sort of joined the realms of Ubisoft. They make good games. The games are quite entertaining. They're just greedy. Then you've got companies like EA, that their games are passable, but they're greedy. Like, they're not horrible games. Like, Sims 4, it is not a bad game. But when you're paying $25 for a couple of clothing items, a couple of new beds and some wallpapers, and the game itself's only like 60 to 70 bucks. It's like, so hang on, you're paying half the price of a full game for crap that should have been in the game in the first place. That's not good. But at least the game is playable. You can play the game, base game, with no DLCs, and it still works perfectly fine. So they're greedy, like they are really greedy. But again, they're not disrespecting the customer base. They're not going, oh, here's the Sims 4. Go, oh, they released Sims 5. But literally all you get is the creation suite for your character and the creation suite for your house. That's it. Everything else, if you want bedroom stuff, you gotta buy bedroom stuff. And if you want clothing items, you gotta buy clothing items. Like, that would be disrespectful. Because then you can't play The Sims unless you've got like a kitchen. But if you're gonna buy the kitchen stuff separately, it's like, no. And, so the game's still decent, right? Then you've got companies like CD Projekt. They were respectful. Like, The Witcher 1, 2, and to be honest, 3 were quite good games. And they were very respectful on their releases. You can buy the base game, play the base game, and enjoy the base game. And it was what it was labelled on the tin. So, good example, Witcher 3. When you buy Witcher 3, and you read the cover, and it goes, you're Geralt, you hunt creatures, you're a Witcher, you know, all the write-ups it's got. That's in the game. But then they release Cyberpunk, and what's written on the tin, so when you read the cover and it says this is what the game's about, it's like, none of that is there. It's like, it's all a bunch of lies. That makes the game a bad game. But then if we go to things like EA is a good example. We've got EA and CD Projekt. This is the good example of the difference between a good company, or an okay company, or a respectful company, and a disrespectful company. If you buy The Sims 4 and you have an issue, you go to EA support, and they reply. They go, yes, we've logged you the thing. Generally speaking, the first response is an automated one. We acknowledge your issue, we will look into it. And then if something else comes about of it and they say, oh yeah, there is an issue, they will get back to you. Not CD Projekt. This is nearly 2.5 months later. I've been trying to get customer support. No responses. I got one automated response saying, no, there's no issues. Well, clearly there is, or I wouldn't be requesting support. That's a disrespectful company. And that is why I am never buying another CD Projekt product again. At the current standings, I don't buy EA games because they're just greedy. If one comes out that the Star Wars Fallen Order 1, if they released one of those and it had an open world role-playing, pretty much Cyberpunk's world, I'd buy it. Even with their greediness, because I just wouldn't spend the money. Then there's companies, I'm trying to think of one that isn't notable. Techland, a very respectful company. The ones that made Dying Light, Dead Island 1 and Dead Island Riptide. They are a respectful company. I had an issue. I had a problem with the game. If anyone's played the game, I was in the following, and you have a a reaction to the zombie virus. I'm not going to go into details in case you want to play it, but you have it and the screen goes funny. It goes like a yellowy colour. It's sort of like, do you remember Far Cry 3 when you had malaria? Similar idea to that. So the screen goes a little fuzzy, goes like a yellowy tinge and stuff like that. It was stuck on that. I sent them an email, got in touch with their customer support, and they replied. Within, I think if I remember correctly, it was 2 days, I got a reply. And not an automated reply, but an actual person typed out, okay, this is the problem, yeah, we've had this problem with other people before, this is the way you can fix it. Right? So that's why I have nothing but respect for that company, because they replied. All their games that they've released have always been, this is what it's labelled as, and that's what you get. So they're treating the customer base with a ton of respect. And if Techland turn around and says, we've got this game coming out next week, and it's graphically it's a turd fest, right? I will still look into it, and if it plays well, I will buy it, because Techland is a good company, a respectful company, and a trustworthy company. Then you get the companies like EA, Ubisoft, right? If they were going to, oh, we've got a game coming out in the next couple of days, I will look into it. I might not buy it, but I'll look into it. Because they're kind of trustworthy. And they're kind of respectful. Because let's face it, Ubisoft label their games as they've got microtransactions in it. They don't say, oh no, there's no microtransactions. It's not pay to win. They will say, oh no, there's microtransactions. And let's face it, the games are pretty good. Watch Dogs Legion?
No, you sure?
It is lacking a lot of the...
Alright, I hear you.
Okay, if I go to that person there. 1 and 2, I can call the cops on her. And all that sort of stuff. That car driving. How it's got the controls. It was like that with everything. The traffic lights, cars, gates. Like, is there a gate just here? Like the gate. That sort of actions. That was on everything. Like traffic on it. That's a little less in this game, but you can play like, I could recruit that person right now and play as that person. So they have not lied. Like, you can recruit anyone. Graphically, it is quite nice. If I bring up photo mode, which this game does have, and if I come in nice and close, it's as close as it's going to let me, isn't it? The models are very passable. The controls, there is certain things I wish they'd fix about the controls, like the fact that you have to press and hold Y to get in and out of vehicles, to press circle to exit the photo method. Make a tap. Let us choose, something like that. That's where Bethesda is really knocking it out of the park. You can literally go into the settings and tell it you want any button press to do anything. And then we got CD Projekt, which used to be a trustworthy, respectful company. Back when Witcher 2 came out, if you had an issue with Witcher 2, you'd throw them an email, they'd reply going, yes, we understand your issue. It would normally be an automated one, you know, the computer would reply, yes, we've got it and we'll look into it, and then they'll look into it. If it's a legit issue, they'll get back to you. If it's something they know about or something like that, you normally get another automated reply going, we know of this issue, it's already getting worked on. But then, whatever happened, like a very big baseball bat smacking everyone on the head, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to be very respectful here because I want the game companies to be respectful to us, but when they pull a CD Projekt on everyone, that's what I call it now, and that's like going from a respectful, trustworthy company to a disrespectful, untrustworthy company. It's like, what happened to make you fall that far from grace? Like, you haven't just fallen to the ground, you've gone below it. Just like, it's not the performance of their games, because again, I didn't get on the hype train, but when Cyberpunk was announced, I've gone, okay, it's got a character creator, it's got cars, it's an open world, graphically it's fine. It's nothing to go, oh, jaw dropping, this is awesome. But when they turn around and says, oh, your country got an R rating and it's not going to receive censorship, and they censor it, or interactive police systems and advanced AIs, and your NPCs are bumping into walls or T-posing, and then you try and get in contact with them, and you spend 2.5 months trying to get in contact with them with 0 responses. It's like, what the hell? And people will go, oh, this is my biggest issue, right? People on Twitter, the toxic people on Twitter, like, I do not recommend Twitter to anyone. But if you're going to do it, the one thing I do say is make sure your profile is visible only to people that you follow, so that these toxic, oh my god, the idiots that are on there, the neckbeards, to be blunt, don't misconstrued and read half your message and then abuse the hell out of you for only reading half your message. Because I stated that, well, I've been stating lots of times, because I'm trying to get in contact with the company I bought a product from, and they did not sell me the correct product, or haven't produced the correct product, and they will not respond to me. I'm a customer. My customer right is I purchase a product. That product should be the correct and working product. I have been in contact with my local government, and I'm currently in processes of putting claims in against them, because they won't respond. It's like, even like the list of things you got to do, one of those is put in a complaint to the company. I've been doing it for 2.5 months since the game's release, so I can definitely tick that one off the list. And the main issue is, because performance is passable, like, I can't fault it on performance. Yes, you get the occasional crash. It isn't running 60 frames a second. I was not expecting 60 frames a second on the PS4 Slim that I play on. However, when people turn around and defend the company and say, oh, I'm surprised it works at all on the base console, so hang on a second. Before you make that statement, moron, CD Projekt developed Cyberpunk for base PS4, base Xbox, and PC. It was developed for those three platforms. And I'm in one right now. This is graphically not quite to the texture quality as Cyberpunk, but world quality, it's just as good. Gameplay wise, just as good. I can't customize my character, right? And me being a mature gamer, like middle-aged, over your 25 years of age, gamer, right? Actually over 35 years of age if you want to get technical, I want some mature content in my games. I don't want to go out saving ponies or hunting down fairies or whatever. Like, I want some, stuff in my brain to be, triggered. Oh, that makes me want to think. That makes, and Cyberpunk promised that. They promised it was going to be a mature game. They also promised it was going to be uncensored. Oh, you got R rating? Yeah, you won't receive censorship. But yet, I have a shower in my underwear. It's like, what the fuck? Then when I complain about it, people go, oh, you just a perp. You want to see digital PP. For the record, the digital PPs and the digital, in brackets, the JJs, as some people are calling them, they're not that accurate. Like, literally, the female organ is literally, it's not even, it's a texture. It's not even really it's not molded. It's like a shadowed crease with 2 bumps on each side. But it's not an actual shape. Or it is slightly, but there is no, YouTube, I'm saying it for descriptive purposes, there's no actual vagina. It is not detailed in any way. It's basically flat skin with the hint of there is something there. Same with the 2 penis models. they're shaped roughly right. I say roughly, you know, it's a hot dog and a beanbag with a skin texture on it, but that's about it. And they promise it would be uncensored, but yet in your inventory, when you've got no clothes on, in the real world or in photo mode, you've got underwear on. It's like, how is it uncensored? And when I complain about it, they're going, oh, you just want to see the things. Well, no, it's not that I want to see it, it's that I was promised it. And they're withholding it. Because it is in the game. Because if I go to my inventory, it's there. So they are withholding it. And people are going, oh, say, mature, you just want to see sex scenes. It's like, no. How is sex mature? Sex is dirty, erotic. That's a perfect example. Erotic. A sex scene would be erotic, not mature. Going to pay my registration on my car, or my hospital bill, or my taxes, that is mature. Getting a girlfriend and maintaining the loyalty of said girlfriend, or romantic advancements of however they want to label it, keeping the girlfriend happy, that would be mature. If you have the intercourse and you have a child, looking after said child is mature. So when they labelled the game as mature, uncensored, and I got, to be blunt, nearly immature, censored, it's like, that is not the correct and working product. They've almost got the working part correct. It is almost working properly. But there's nowhere in the world is it correct. So yeah. So at the moment, from most disrespectful worst companies, the least trustworthy companies, to the best, like CD Projekt's right down the bottom. They are the most disrespectful, untrustworthy company at the moment. And before any fanboys start leaving comments in the comment section or trying to hunt me down on Twitter and going, oh, you're a dickhead or whatever, it's like, listen here, fanboy. They have pulled a disrespectful act. They have ripped off their customer base. So that is disrespectful and dishonest. So my statement is correct. They're at the bottom of the list. They are below EA, below Ubisoft, technically even below No Man's Sky when it was first released, because at least they responded. If you bought No Man's Sky at the very beginning and were unhappy with it and you emailed them saying, I'm hungry, where's my content, you'd get a response. It might not be a response you like, but you got a response. Where's my response, CD Projekt? Then you got companies like EA, Ubisoft, which are greedy. But again, if I put a ticket in, if I have a problem with this, if Watch Dogs plays up, if I lose content, I can email them and say, look, a good example, masks on the last update disappeared. People emailed them. They got responses. We are aware of the issue and we're correcting it. They responded. They're a greedy company, but they responded. Then as you go further, you got companies like Mojang, Volition. I'm trying to think of some really obscure ones that people may have heard of.
All right. Seriously, no, hold on.
I want to say Telltale Games, but they went bankrupt. So I can't even say them, but they're a good example. If you had a problem with one of their games when they were around, and you emailed them, they would respond and say, yes, we're aware of the issue, or no, we're not aware of the issue, and they'll look into it.
Okay. That's great. Absolutely. Seriously, no, hold on.
Yes, so that's my discussion on companies and the state of the gaming currently is fucked. That is blunt. It is fucked. Like, I can't think of any other words to describe how the gaming world is right now. Like, I just previously streamed Persona 5 Strikers. So if you're interested in looking at the gameplay of that, watch it. But there is nothing to look forward to. And with companies like CD Projekt being the douchiest things on the planet, and companies like EA and Ubisoft being greedy, We've got nothing to look forward to. Well, I'm going to leave you with that. Half an hour. A quick little roll off of good companies to worst companies. Volition is great company. Respectful. Honest. That sort of stuff. And as you get down the list, you got companies like Mojang. Keep going down. You got companies like Ubisoft, EA. Keep going down the list. Then you got companies like City Project right at the bottom. Who blatantly lie to their customer base. Do not deliver the product that is promised and is labelled as, and do not respond. Like, wasn't one of your founding things? Honesty and communication with the customers and the gamers. So your honesty is not existent anymore, and your communication is where? Please point it out so I can look there, because I've had none. Okay, well I'm going to call it. Thank you, City Project, for fucking the gaming industry. It wasn't just them, but they put the nail in the coffin, the last nail. I'm out of here. Take care of yourselves. Look after each other. Again, I will post videos of new content like Persona 5 as I feel like it's warranted, and when the new update for Cyberpunk comes out, I'm going to do a stream showing whether it actually fixes the game or not. And when I say fixes the game, it's not performance. Is the nudity sensor corrected? Is the subtitles not popping up anymore? That sort of stuff. So yeah, content going forward as I feel like. I'm not going to do regulars. I'm not going to do anything in particular. If I see something that's worthy, I'll put it up. So there you go. Alright, out of here. Catch you around.